Tesla and Alfa Romeo. They seem like chalk and cheese, don't they? One's Italian, one's American, one's famous for making electric cars as pure as the driven snow. The other is known for using Ferrari-derived V6s. But what if I told you that without the help of Tesla and Elon Musk, Alfa Romeo might be in some pretty serious trouble? Welcome to another video where I try and break down some of the industry's lesser known stories. I've already explained to you why cars sound terrible in 2020. You can click here to watch that. And I've also told you who killed the Ford Focus RS. But today I want to break down why without Tesla's help, Alfa Romeo and Maserati and Jeep and Fiat and Chrysler might have some pretty big problems. To understand this story, we've got to go back in time to when the European Parliament and Council adopted Regulation (EU) 2019/631, which included some brand new, really strict emission standards for brand new cars. Long story short, if any car manufacturer wants to sell cars in Europe, they have to have an average fleet emissions of 95 grams of CO2 per kilometer or less. If not, they've got to pay a fine. For every gram over that 95 grams per kilometer limit, they have to pay 95 euros multiplied by the number of cars they sell in Europe. So let's just say a hypothetical car maker, Rory's Rides, makes 10 cars. And in that range of 10 cars, the average CO2 emissions is 100 grams per kilometer, 5 above the limit set by the EU. Let's also say that Rory's Rides sells 1 million cars a year. Because Rory's Rides is 5 grams per kilometer over the limit, we have to times that by 95, the fine, times 1 million, which gives us a fine of 475 million euros. Alfa Romeo are part of the Fiat Chrysler Automobiles Group, or FCA. FCA is the 8th biggest car company on the planet. Their brands include Alfa Romeo, Abarth, Chrysler, Dodge, Fiat, Maserati, Jeep, and Ram. They make a hell of a lot of cars, and crucially, FCA's cars are not what I would consider to be world beaters where CO2 emissions are concerned. In fact, according to a Financial Times report, FCA's average fleet emissions in 2018 was 123 grams per kilometer. Quiet, please. What's up?
We can't get to player on the...
Give me 10 minutes, I'll come and do it. So in 2018, they were 28 grams per kilometer above the EU limit. And let's not forget that £95 fine. Now, they sold 946,600 cars in 2018. So quick maths, 28 times 95 times 946,600 equals a massive fine. Now, let's be clear, these figures are based on the 2018 numbers. Right now in 2020, FCA's cars will be a little bit greener. And by the time that the new legislation comes through in 2021, they'll be even greener still. But they're still gonna miss their targets. And remember, that fine happens every single year that you miss the target. FCA are a big company, but it doesn't take a genius to work out that there's not many companies on the planet that can happily toss away £2 billion every single year and not feel a hit. And more to the point, it's my personal opinion that being in this position raises massive question marks about the future sustainability of certain brands within the company. Alfa Romeo, as a brand, doesn't actually make any money. In fact, it loses money. Back in 2014, FCA's CEO, Sergio Marchionne, unveiled a plan to bring Alfa Romeo back to profitability that said that they'd need to sell 400,000 cars by 2018. According to some estimates, Alfa Romeo only sold 118,000 in 2017. As for Maserati, well, in 2019, they posted losses of 119 million euros. These are brands with massive potential. They're loved by the people who drive the cars, and one day they might actually make big money. But right now, they cost money. And it doesn't seem sustainable for FCA to keep throwing away billions of euros every year in fines because of these cars, when the cars don't actually make them any cash. Something has to give, surely. FCA's chief executive, Mike Manley, said that the company would use all options available to it in order to meet the EU's targets, and that includes dropping the most polluting cars from its range. What are the most polluting cars? Well, anything sporty. Maseratis, Alfa Romeos, Abarths. All these cars could be on the chopping block. But before they start swinging the axe too mercilessly, they've begun making cleaner engines and started thinking about replacing its biggest polluters with hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and EVs. That's what the rest of the industry is doing. But FCA don't have too many full hybrids, plug-in hybrids, or battery electric vehicles lying around. Therefore, the future was looking a bit grim. So FCA had to go back to the drawing board to revisit regulation (EU) 2019/631 to see if there was anything inside there, any small print that would allow them to renegotiate or otherwise avoid the fine. And like in any good contract, there was some small print. One of these loopholes is something called a pool. So car makers like Volkswagen can offset VW, Seat and Skoda emissions against Audi and Porsche. But there's also scope in the regulation for something called an open pool. And this allows manufacturers with nothing to do with each other to form a group to offset one company's CO2 emissions against another. In other words, one company with massive CO2 levels can call up another one with very low CO2, come together and bring their averages right down. And who do the bosses at FCA know that has a company with really low CO2 emissions? Yeah, hi, Elon. How you doing, mate? Do you want to make some money? According to a declaration on the European Commission website, Fiat Chrysler formed an open pool with Tesla on February the 25th, 2019. The declaration doesn't show any financial details, but what we do know is that FCA will have paid Tesla handsomely. And this isn't even anything new, by the way. This probably wasn't even a case of FCA approaching Tesla, but more a case of Tesla approaching any manufacturer that was having problems and promising that they could help bring down their average emissions in exchange for money. It's something Tesla have been doing for some time. They closed the deal with FCA on February 22nd, but were still taking applications for other car makers to join the pool until March 25th. And let's be clear, Tesla has already made billions of dollars in the last few years from selling credits in exactly this way. So it's a win-win situation for both sides. Tesla make a bunch of cash that can help them keep making their EVs, and FCA buy themselves a bunch of time while they make their own engines and reduce their average emissions while not paying as big a fine as they might have paid the EU. So that's it in a nutshell. Without Tesla, without Elon Musk, the Maseratis and Alfa Romeos and Abbas of this world might struggle massively in the wake of new EU rules. Tesla has come to the rescue of the old guard. How do you guys feel about this? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, please do me a quick favor. If you found this video to be entertaining or informative, then make sure you hit subscribe, because then when we make another video, you won't miss it. And also hit that bell icon. Plus, make sure you hit that like button, because it really does help YouTube know that our content is appealing to people, and it gives us even more reason to keep making it. All right, guys, thanks for watching so much. See you again soon.